Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and we are here at the Kansas Speedway. We're going to be qualifying for the Great Wolf Lodge 400, the 14th race of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 9. And after that wild race we had at the Charlotte Motor Speedway last week with the Coke 600, another mile-and-a-half racetrack, but a much shorter race. And it's going to be interesting Saturday, tomorrow I should say, at noon Eastern Time over on Napa Fan. We begin with the Turkey Hill Hot Seat qualifying. The 07 of Dillon Young, the 08 of Bobo Jones, the 21 of Ashlin Boyd, the 55 of Logan Williams, the 57 of Ryan Benjamin, the 67 of Trey Smith, the 71 of Christopher Alfveby, and the 98 of Landon Smith Jr. Top 2 advance onto the show. I'm alongside Matt Tuck. We'll be calling the race with us tomorrow at noon Eastern Time, and Kansas is a very interesting racetrack. It's a very rhythmic racetrack. We saw it in the Turkey Hill Series race yesterday. You have to hit your marks here. But what's the key to winning at a place like the Kansas Speedway?
I think Kansas is an interesting track, especially as how it's aged out over the since they repaved it 10 years ago or so now. It's definitely track position's big, but timing your moves and making sure you're up front, but also making the right pit strategy times as well. It's definitely going to be big to winning this race.
It's interesting you mentioned the repave. We actually used the version that was before the repave, the 2009 version of this racetrack. So it's still a very worn out surface. Definitely makes things very interesting. And a flat racetrack as well. I believe it might be the flattest mile-and-a-half we go to on the circuit, with the exception, of course, of the Rockingham Motor Speedway over in the United Kingdom. But still, very interesting racetrack here at the Kansas Speedway. We had an interesting race in the Turkey Hill Series yesterday, and I think we're going to see a lot of similar racing in tomorrow's 54-lap race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. First driver out to complete a lap, number 57 there, of Ryan Benjamin, 29.552 for him, and Landon Smith Jr. goes to a 29.596. See if anyone else is out there completing a lap right here. You got the 55 machine of Logan Williams. He's on his first flying lap. Then the 67 of Trey Smith, 21 of Ashlin Boyd, the 07 of Dillon Young. These guys coming out a little bit later on in the session here during qualifying for the Great Wolf Lodge 400. 71 machine. That is the Scorpion Motorsport driver of Christopher Alfveby over in the Turkey Hill Series. I believe this might be Alfveby's first attempt at a Chick-fil-A Cup Series race. I'm not 100% sure. He's right now there with Landon Smith Jr. We'll have to see how his lap clocks in. And you got the 67 of Trey Smith out here. But the 57, Ryan Benjamin, still the fastest, 29.417. He did not improve his time that last lap. 71 machine goes to third, but not enough to beat Landon Smith Jr., who is still second quickest here in qualifying. Might want to watch out for Dillon Young. There goes the 55 of... Forget who's in the 55, right? Or should I say Logan Williams? Shoot, why am I not getting it? I know you don't have the list, Matt, but I have it here, and I'm just not looking at it for some reason. Logan Williams is second fastest now there for Trans-Tasman Racing. And you got the 08 of Bobo Jones, who won at Charlotte last week. And keep in mind, the hot seat was awarded from Charlotte, not from Kansas yesterday, so keep that in mind. The Charlotte race is how these guys got their rides awarded. Kansas will be awarded for the Portland race next weekend. That should be an interesting one once we head to our first road course of the season. Dillon Young just went to the top of the board for Velocity Racing, and it's Ryan Benjamin still second, but Dillon Young with the quickest time in the 07 machine.
Everybody, a lot of fast laps here so far. Everybody taking turns up and down the leaderboard, seeing who's going to end up getting that one transfer spot in the big race tomorrow.
And these guys, they both helped each other out. Christopher Alfveby and Landon Smith Jr. 1-2 right now, with Alfveby the fastest and Landon Smith Jr. second. So it's looking like those guys might be the ones who advance on here at Kansas. Don't see anybody else with that drafting help. Maybe Trey Smith and Ryan Benjamin, but the tires are probably worn out on these guys from earlier on in the session, so odds are those are going to be the two fastest times to get here at the Kansas Speedway with Alfveby and Landon Smith Jr.
Let's see here. Come across. Let's see where they at.
'71. Got around the 98 there, getting a little practice for the race, because it looks like Alfveby will be in the race tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So great run there for the 71. Great run for Landon Smith Jr. Clock will run out here, and I think we'll get 30 more seconds, and that will do it here from Kansas. So still a little bit of time, but I don't think any time right now will officially count, as it is in the cooldown phase of the session. You have the number 21 there of Nick Smith, or should I say, no, Ashlin Boyd. I don't even care. I don't even know why I said that. I don't have these drivers down because they change every week, and that makes it a little difficult on who's in what ride. But it will, in fact, be Christopher Alfveby and Landon Smith Jr. in tomorrow's 54-lap race here from Kansas. They're going to join the other 40 full-time drivers for pole qualifying for the Great Wolf Lodge 400 from the Kansas Speedway. Let's see who gets the pole position in the 14th race of the season. And here we go, qualifying for the Great Wolf Lodge 400. The 14th race of the season, and this is kind of an odd race. There's nothing really special about Kansas, but it's going to be a good race, I'll say that much. And we had a great race yesterday in the Turkey Hill Series, and I think we're in store for another good one here in the Turkey, or should I say in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Whatever. But it should be a fun one because it's a lot shorter of the race that we had last week with the Coke 600, and because of that, these guys are going to have to make their moves a lot earlier. The racing here is also very interesting, you know, and like I mentioned, it's a very rhythmic racetrack, and if you don't hit your marks, you're going to slide up the racetrack. We're going to see a lot of dive bombs in this race. Should be a good one tomorrow, noon Eastern time here on Napa Fan.
Let's see who's out here. 7 car here. Who we got? 7 of Fisher G.
1-2
Zidell
races
Motorsport's
ago.
been Zidell Motorsport been fast this year so far.
Yeah, it's kind of almost between you and Zidell Motorsports for the Owners' Championship. Velocitar and Zidell, both teams with 3 wins this season. And I believe they're still currently 1-2 in the Owners' Championship. Of course, Fisher G won 2 races ago at the Martinsville Speedway, and he currently leads the wildcard standings. Did not have the best of runs in the Coke 600, but he's still the leader in the wildcard with 15 points ahead of the cutoff. And Jesse Turner, with that second-place run at Charlotte last week, is now 6 points ahead of the cutoff. Thomas Troxel 6 points behind the cutoff right now, with now 7 races left to go before the cutoff, including this race here at Kansas. So, not much time. It's closing in fast on the end of the regular season. We have only had 9 different winners so far this season. Not many drivers have won yet, but I have a good feeling about these next 7 races. We got Kansas, we got Portland, first road course of the season, North Wilkesboro, Chicagoland, 2 Pocono races, which Pocono is good in 2003, and then Indianapolis to finish things off. Of course, Pocono, Indianapolis is very similar, Kansas and Chicagoland are very similar, but we got Portland and North Wilkesboro in there. How do you think those races are going to play into this whole championship?
Portland will be an interesting science experiment. Having never been there before, that'll be something worth keeping an eye on. Is how that race will unfold there for a first time there. North Wilkesboro, I mean, we know what happens there. You know, it's always good old short track there. Track position definitely always key there, but, you know, anything can happen down there. That's definitely one of the more interesting locations on the schedule.
Yeah, earlier today I was getting a lot of the throwbacks in, putting them on the racetrack. This is going to be the first year where every driver, and I believe every driver, will have a throwback for the Southern States 400, which is awesome. Huge thanks to Hair Gel and Trey for making all the schemes for us, or most of the schemes, I should say, and we're going to have a great race during the Junior Johnson Memorial Shootout as well, so it's not going to be its own separate video when it initially premieres. It's going to be in the Junior Johnson Shootout, the Southern States 400, 2 weeks from today from North Wilkesboro, and I've been doing some testing in North Wilkesboro, and the racing there can get a little wild, and that should be a good one there for our 3rd short track of the season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Cody Sill fastest right now here in Kansas qualifying. And I mentioned how Kansas and Chicagoland are similar racetracks. Cody Sill has won Chicagoland the past 2 years in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Back-to-back Chicagoland wins for Sill. And he's doing pretty well right now here in Kansas qualifying. Dale Lightning finally got his first top 10 of the season in the Coke 600 of all races. He's now 2nd quickest. Our points leader, Reagan Whitlock, who's 84 ahead of the cutoff, doing pretty good this season there for Full Frontal Motorsports, the number 92 team. They are now 4th as Cameron Garlington has just gone to the 2nd position in the number 34.
Cameron Garlington, I don't remember. He had a great run in the All-Star race. I think he had a good run altogether when we were at Charlotte a few weeks ago now.
Yeah, I can't remember specifically how it went for him in the Coke 600, but you do mention the All-Star race. Had a great run there. Actually had the best average before the final segment, but did not have the best of final segments in that race, and unfortunately couldn't come home with the race victory over there. But top 10 right now, it is the number 37 of Cody Sill, Cameron Garlington, Dale Lightning, Reagan Whitlock, LJ Semedo, who had a great run at Charlotte, but unfortunately got wrecked late in the race. Let's see where Semedo is on the racetrack for North State Racing. And it's Trey Bartow in the number 4, the number 16 of Nathan Baer, the 99 of Brad Stover, the 04 of Brett Sear, and the 13 of Sebastian Cucalon. All 3 of the Titan Fury Motorsports drivers inside the top 10 here in qualifying. They have not had a good season at all. They've yet to win a race this season with their 3 drivers. Not looking too good for them so far here early on in the season. Or it's actually really not early on in the season. I mean, the next race is going to be the halfway point of the season, so we're halfway through the season and they have not shown any speed whatsoever all year long.
No, they've had an off year. Definitely not carrying the banner well for Dodge, but I feel like overall Dodge has kind of missed the mark this year. I know they won, I believe it was Alexander Rowe, won the big race out in Daytona earlier this year, but other than that, I feel like they've kind of, I don't know, I feel like they haven't quite all been there this year compared to what they have in previous years.
Of course, they have fewer drivers, fewer cars this year. I believe there are only 4 Dodge teams, and you got North State Racing, Golden Motorsports, King Art Family Racing, and Titan Fury. And 3 of those teams are only 2-car operations, so they only have, if I can do the math correctly, 9 full-time drivers in the series, which is about, you know, how it should be when you have 4 manufacturers and 40 cars in the field. But it's still... Oh, we also have Beast Racing. I forgot about Marty's team. I'm sorry. So they actually have 11 cars in the field, so they actually have more than what would normally be expected, but they still have missed the mark quite a bit. I believe they've only gotten the 2 wins with Alexander Rowe. North State Racing has definitely been the class of the field for Dodge this season. Beast Racing has gone without a race victory. King Art's gone without a race victory. However, Bradley Ream has been doing very well in the number 40 machine. But Titan Fury's gone without a race victory. And Golden Motorsports, Silas Orta's come close a couple of times, but they haven't really found their strength yet this season. But they do have one of their guys leading here in qualifying. That is Cody Sill in the 37, who went right out there, grabbed the fastest time, and it has stuck. A 29.782 for Cody Sill. And Cody, you know, he's one of these drivers who won't really show anything all season long, and then all of a sudden he wins a race like this. That's what happened last year when he won Chicagoland. And Cody Sill's actually won 3 races, I do believe, in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. If not, he's actually won 4. I think it's only been 3, though. But he has won a race at a mile-and-a-half racetrack the past 3 seasons. Won Las Vegas, and then won Chicagoland in Season 7, and then won Chicagoland again in Season 8, and actually won Las Vegas in his rookie season in Season 6. But who knows, he might have a good strong run here at Kansas as Christopher Alfveby moves up to the 8th position as an unchartered driver. Great run there for Alfveby for the unchartered Titan Fury Motorsports ride.
Seen a lot of speed out of the uncharted cars this year too. That's definitely been something to watch for.
The last unchartered driver to win a race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series was, in fact, you know who.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yes, it was you. Pocono Season 7.
That was a long time ago,
back when Beast Racing had a unchartered ride. The full-time, or should I say the part-time guys, unchartered guys, last year did not win a race, and they have yet to win a race so far this year, so it's been almost 2 full seasons since an unchartered driver has won a race in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and in Season 7, 3 unchartered drivers won races that season. And we're running a very similar system, pretty much an identical system this year as we were in Season 7, and they've yet to win. But we'll have to see if Alfveby can pull something off. He's only won one race before on Napa Fan. They came at Auto Club in the IndyCar Series last year. And speaking of IndyCar, in less than an hour over on Napa Fan, we head to Lime Rock Park for the Grand Prix of Lime Rock, our second race of the season. And let me tell you, you don't want to miss it. It's a pretty good race.
I won there too.
You did. Way back in the day. I think it was 2016 when you won that race.
That was a long time ago.
That was over 4 years ago. Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't think it was quite over 4 years ago quite yet. But it was almost. It was actually around the same time in 2016 when Lime Rock ran in that season. But, yeah, definitely watch out for that race. It should be interesting tomorrow, or later today, I should say, over on Napa Fan for the first road course of the season. Had a great Indianapolis 250 for the Haas IndyCar Series, and it should be a great season over there for those guys in the open wheel machines. Definitely looking forward to that season. It should be good. And we should have a good one here at Kansas in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series tomorrow. Cody Sill definitely looking strong. As far as I know, he's the only guy who was at the top of the board here in qualifying. But that's going to work out in his favor. He will lead the field of the green flag tomorrow for the Great Wolf Lodge 400 from Kansas. And he'll have Cameron Garlington starting alongside him on that front row. So a couple of veterans there going to lead us to the green flag for the 14th race of the season. And it's definitely going to be interesting when we get through the regular season here, because the chase is closing in faster than you know. We got some guys like Fitzwater, Yepez, Alonso, Stapleton. Ryan Durrani's actually falling back a little bit. They're all kind of on the bubble right there to make it into the chase. And one race like this, one mistake, if any of those guys wreck out in this race, they're going to fall outside the top 10 in points, and that'll definitely shake things up in the championship. But either way, that's how they're going to line up for tomorrow's 54-lap race from Kansas. I can't remember anything anymore, but take a look at the rest of the results right there, see if we had any ties. And I do not see any in the bottom half of the field, and we did not have any ties, surprisingly. So that is exactly how to line up for tomorrow's 54-lap race in the Great Wolf Lodge 400 from the Kansas Speedway. Thank you guys so much for watching. And later on at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, over on Napa Fan, it's the Grand Prix of Lime Rock in the Haas IndyCar Series. We qualified for that race yesterday. And then tomorrow at noon Eastern Time is the Great Wolf Lodge 400 in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series over on Napa Fan. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Cody Sill for winning the poll. And I will see you guys later.